first and foremost, aren't you glad not to see a power supply sitting on my desk in front of me here? I just want to give the other phone one moment to catch up. Here we go. I really wasn't sure what I was going to do for you guys this morning. I have a little bit of a supply and demand problem going on. Nothing horrible. I'll have product tomorrow. But there's nothing more I hate than doing the same video over and over and over again. So, yesterday I decided to start looking at some of these copper aluminum heat sinks. I've got tubs of them. I could outright just sell them for 20 cents a piece, and 20 cents a pound, and be done with it. I took one apart last night, and it didn't go so well. Hang on a second, see if I can grab that. That's okay. I'm not going to spend time looking for it. It's around here somewhere. What I did, and it was a mistake, I cut these, and I cut this, and then I started pulling the fins. The problem was with this not being smooth and rounded, the fins kept getting hung up on the rough edge. So if you're going to do this, hi Bobby, if you're going to do this, don't cut these off first. I mean, that's all I got out of it. It's not a lot, and of course I got a bit of clean aluminum. So this is probably something that's good for a day like today. The weather's really crummy. This is all you gotta do, guys. Pull the fins down and away, you'll free up the copper, and then throw the whole thing of fins into clean aluminum. Remember, guys, when you pry your stuff, pry it away from yourself. Hello, G Money. It is pouring outside, so again, I won't get any yard work done today, but I really won't complain. I'm grateful for the rain. We certainly need it. I wish I had gotten my bug killer and grass seed down first. But so this seems to be the, at least for me, the easiest way to get at these. It's much cleaner, and you know, this is something you can do if you're hanging out watching TV or watching other people on YouTube. Yeah, or on TikTok. Oh, here's the other one. So this one I mangled. I made a lot more work for myself because I cut these. I had to fight with every single fin to get them off of there, and that was no good. And the same thing here. So what I'm saying is, cut these things last. Pull the aluminum over where it's smooth and rounded. You certainly can cut and just cut the fins away, and you could cut and cut the fins away. I don't like to use power equipment when no one else is home and everybody's out and about this morning, so you know, sometimes I just go old school, which I will do today. I am old school. I am just old. You can get these screws off here. This sometimes is stainless. You'll have to check it and make sure you separate it from your aluminum. Hi Patrick. Christy. Hi Jeff. So you can just get these four, you can get this bottom plate off. I think it's stainless, like I said, and you can check that. So you'll have copper, plain aluminum, and a piece of stainless. So that's how I am going to be going after these guys, for now anyway. Problem is, once you get about halfway through, then it starts getting a little more difficult. It's tedious, I mean, there's no question about it. But if you're good with power tools, you certainly can do this much quicker than I will do. These should potentially pull right off. They're not soldered all that hard, and they're not very thick. Most of you guys are probably got much stronger hands than I do. Hey, Red Fox. I think I'm just going to get this sticker done. Yeah, this is a little tedious and a little bit boring. I don't really plan on doing an entire video on it. I just wanted to share that case. I mean, you see a lot of these. Sometimes they look like this. This one, well, let me not get ahead of myself, otherwise I don't provide quality, and I want to be a quality person. I'm gonna get these separated first, I think. It doesn't really matter. You need to make sure you have a Godzilla-sized screwdriver. Like I said, the second you cut this, you're gonna have a mess getting the fins off. I made that mistake yesterday when I was trying to figure this out. And again, this is just something new that I haven't done yet. At least not this way. I've always sold them whole. It always was easier for me. They just pull right up. My hands are not good this morning. The weather is awful, and I have terrible arthritis. So I'm not sure how strong I'm going to be for the morning here. I'm having my tea. I've taken my Advil, and I've got the heat on, and I'm sitting in front of I have a little heater in my kitchen, so hopefully it will improve. I did a lot yesterday, though. I did a lot in the storage bin because it was, again, it was raining, so I went up to the storage bin. I did a lot of sorting, trying to get ready for my, good morning, T-Man. Trying to get ready for tomorrow's scrap run. Problem is, because it is pouring rain, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. But I got a lot of sorting done. I did get as many of the depopulated power supplies done as I could. And I'll show you one of those in a minute, just so in case you missed yesterday's video, so you'll see what I'm talking about. Looking for something to grab hold of these with. I don't want to repeat a Thursday where I sliced my hand open. Don't laugh at me. You definitely want to get a grip on this aluminum because it can cut you. Sorry guys, sometimes these comments go by so darn fast I can't see them. As I said, for me today, this is just going to be a little bit tricky. But you can see, it's going to nicely pull back from that copper. It's very thin here. That'll come apart for you without too much trouble. You certainly can grab a heavy-duty pair of snips and do that. Right. There should be copper here too. Yeah, so you just get a small Phillips head here. You can get this bottom piece off And you should be able to just knock this off with a chisel and then get at the copper underneath. Alright, that's that one, and of course, lovely sound of clean aluminum. Get about 1 million pieces, you might have a pound. So this is another one. This came out of an Xbox gaming system, and I think I'm going to say the same thing here. I would probably just pop these fins apart. Don't cut this, because then you'll get, again, you'll get jagged edges. You won't be able to pull the aluminum fins free. The copper runs down here. You certainly, as I said, you certainly could take an angle grinder and just cut and just free the copper. That's probably easier, of course, but as I said, nobody's home right now, and I don't like using angle grinders in the house, and it's boring out. So, plan B, as they say. You also have the option, of course, of just nipping the good copper off and then just throwing the rest of it in with your copper aluminum heat sinks and taking the 20 to 40 cents that they're paying. Alright, that one, and then this one. I think I'd say the same thing. I think I just popped the fins off, but again, I wouldn't cut this. Or again, you can just cut, 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 cut. Aluminum is fairly easy to cut. If these are stainless, the problem's going to be you're going to go through an awful lot of blades, and that's not always conducive to getting profit. I tried to get gloves on this morning. My hands are too swollen and I can't, so I have to go secondary here. That's okay. I'll get better. I always get better as the day goes on. I'll do that all day, every day. These are easy. Like I said, if you cut this, you're going to make a lot more work for yourself. So you certainly could use the, I don't know, what do we call it? How about the Godzilla approach? So anyway, I'm going to try to go to the yard tomorrow. I have 2 yards. Well, I don't think I'm gonna go to the Ferris yard. I don't have a lot of steel to scrap. I got rid of most of that Friday. I do have, I probably will sell computer equipment. I have power supplies with no boards. I have power boards that I've depopulated. Low-grade boards, things like that. I think I'm going to hold my copper and aluminum and see what shakes loose tomorrow. I don't know. It's very, it is unpredictable here right now. I just don't know what's going. None of us know what's going to happen next with the events in Washington D.C. And that's all I'm going to say. I really want to stay away from politics on the channel. So, yeah, I think you can get the fins off, just nip them and pull them. And then just have the copper skeleton left. If I say skeleton, will it block me? I forgot what I said the other day. I said something about a boneyard, and it came up and it blocked me. I'm like, really? Oh, I know what it was. I made a joke about selling ears. I was taking apart computer servers. I made a joke about I wasn't selling body parts, I was selling ears. It blocked me. It's like, really? They're not body parts, guys, they're computer ears. Silly people. That's it, no more jokes on TikTok. Yeah. So anyway, you guys get the idea how to do this. I guess the copper guys don't want the aluminum, and the aluminum guys don't want the copper. And, like I said, somebody who's stronger could certainly make quicker work of this than I'm doing today. But, you'll see, you're going to get some nice copper. This, when you get all the fins off, I don't know if that's cast aluminum or stainless, I'm not sure. A-U-R-A-S, Aurus. So yeah, you can, but you probably can put this piece into a vise and just smack that good hunk of copper off. A lot of copper in these heat sinks, guys. I don't know why they call them heat sinks, because they're actually coolers. And good morning to everybody who has joined. This is another example of a similar heat sink. Again, you want to unscrew this. Don't cut this because you don't want to, well, you could cut that, I take that back. That you can cut. Don't cut this, because the second it becomes a jagged edge, you're going to have to fight with every piece of copper. You certainly have the option to cut and cut. You can get this outside casing off, it'll screw off. Oh, give her another straight, she says screw off. This one, that's very light. I'm pretty sure that's aluminum all the way around. Again, you certainly can get at the fins here. You know, nip this off from the base after. So, for the time being, that's how I would go about those. Here's the one I started before. You know, it's a bit tedious. It's something you can do while you're watching TV or some such thing. But I thought I would share that with you this morning. I lied. I have a power supply to show you. Haha. Did you think you were getting off that easy? No. You guys know I've been working with these. And I showed you quite a few power supplies, mostly for purposes of depopulation and showing what's in them. Now, these power supplies, when they're taken apart and they're not in the case anymore, they sell as a low-grade board. You can't hurt a low-grade board. You could take everything off a low-grade board and it's still going to sell as a low-grade board. It's going to sell by weight and not by content, though. Unlike telecom boards and high-grade boards, if you nip things off there, yeah, then you're going to get downgraded. But not on this. Oh, shoot, I forgot to bring them up with me. These came out of battery backups, battery modules. This was one side, the other side was like 8 batteries. The thing weighs about 100 pounds. They're still sitting outside and they're heavy. I got extruded aluminum like this, 2 huge chunks of it here, and that just unscrewed from the bottom, so those came out very easily. You have to unscrew these. These are copper MOSFETs. I left them on the board just because I wanted to have them there to show you. Definitely want to go after those. You just have to get them apart, and there's a big piece of copper underneath. Some are easier than others to get apart. I'm going to go ahead and take those off now. I got these yesterday at the Home Depot. They're flush pliers. The pair that I've been using is small and really wasn't meant for this kind of work, but I did find a slightly bigger pair, and I'll be using those for this. You can also use your regular nippers to get these off. Remember, these guys, the legs are copper here, so don't just discard them. You can't get the aluminum off without unscrewing the copper. It just doesn't work. So I'll get those off. Even these legs are copper. I have so many of these down in the basement. I'm trying to find somebody who will buy the whole lot of them, and I haven't been successful. So here, yeah, these ones that are totally encased in plastic can be a kind of tricky to get apart. If you can break the plastic, and I don't know if I can this morning. I can't. It went that way. Always point it away from yourselves too, guys, because when it goes flying, you don't want it flying at you. You just break that. Break that. That might give me enough. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but There's nice copper. That's all copper under there. Especially something like this that's really old school. These things that are made pre-2020 have a lot more copper on them. Let me just put that one aside. This one's better to show you. And a lot of times you'll get the MOSFETs that are like this. These are really easier to, well, relatively easier to snap apart. You just have to grab it. I cleaned up last night and I forgot to take everything back out again. Yeah. It's alright. And in this case, you can just grab it, pull it. Nice number 2 copper, guys. As every scrapper out there will say, it all adds up. There's a couple of other videos out on separating these. I don't know, I haven't really, the ones that are all plastic are just annoying. Sometimes you can break these MOSFETs off while the legs are still attached to the board. That always makes life a little easier, huh? You can try. What I'm doing is I'm holding the plastic down and I'm pulling. Alright. Right now, yeah. There's another one. Copper went down a lot yesterday, on Friday, and I don't know. You know, commodities are attached to the stock market. You know, like it or not, that's just the way. It's the way it works. The stock market goes down, aluminum, copper, gold, everything else is going to go down with it. It's tied to the commodities market. I'm in the position where I don't have to sell. I'm going to kind of hold off. I can't imagine that even some of the major board buyers, prices were sky high last week, I can't imagine that they're going to be able to maintain that. I mean, the stock market dropped over 2,000 points on Friday. And I hope it gets better. I hope they can figure it all out. And again, I'm trying to avoid politics. I really am. I don't want to say yay, nay, I like this, I like that, I don't like this, I don't like that. Those I keep to myself. I don't like 25% of my portfolio disappearing. But I'm just going to leave it be. Got to be patient, got to wait for it to come back up again. We all went through this in like 1986 too. Everybody's portfolio just dropped. But, you know, I just continue buying. So kind of cost averages out. Eventually it's going to go back up again. You know, if you have something in your portfolio, it's something you don't need, it's money you don't need for at least 5 years. That's the way you're supposed to do it. So, you know, it's just going to have to stay there. Anyway, I digress, and I mustn't do that. So, these are capacitors. I'm going to leave them. Some people will take them off for aluminum breakage. Not a lot elevated pi, honestly. I really, believe it or not, I don't do this full time. I'm a hobby scrapper. I do it a lot more in the winter because the music school is just super slow. I run a band instrument rental service. I own probably 700 or 800 instruments which I repair and I rent. But it's quiet this time of year, and you know, so I like to stay busy. I've only recently started doing YouTube and TikTok, and I'm really enjoying it. It's been fun watching, trying to help some other scrappers the way I was helped. And, yeah. And it's enjoyable. Like I said, you know, my family's all at the age where they now have, you know, kids of their own, and they're all married, and my nieces and nephews, who I'm very close to, they're busy. Everybody works, so I keep myself busy. We're going out this afternoon. I know we're going to lunch, which is always really nice, and we keep in touch. I didn't do it this morning, but my typical greeting is, "Good morning, scrappers and scrapettes. Welcome to another great session of D-Scrap, C-Scraps. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Scrappy D." I had to laugh because I texted good morning the other day, and my niece Jessica texts back, "Good morning, fellow scrappers." And then Eric texts, "Good morning, fellow scrappers." And then Jessica texts, "And scrapettes." And William comes in with, "And anybody else who I missed." Honest to God, it wasn't scripted. It was hilarious. They took my opening line and just sent it in. "Hi, Ed." They actually got me into this whole thing. I would never have done TikTok. I wouldn't. I didn't know enough about it. I had the YouTube channel started just for kicks. And we have some plans for the music school with that too. Matter of fact, after I finish up this last batch of e-scrap that I've got coming in, I'm going to start doing my videos for the kids so they can practice over the summer. I think I'm going to try doing that as like a paid subscription. I'll specify what book and what page and what lesson, and if they want to either join a live or if they want to subscribe to the video series, they can do that from home, but that way they can practice, and they certainly can come to my studio and take a lesson with me. That's just something I'm toying with. That's my next project. I don't know if I can get this off today, guys. My hands are just really not good. Hello, Eric. Hello, Waddle. I should be able to get this off. I might have to get a chisel. Sometimes works better with this. I have sets of these down in the basement. These power supplies, they came with this and then a set of 6 toroids just like this that were like over here, and then probably 6 to 8 batteries. Like I said, they're still sitting on the patio. I can't lift them. Train left, lost my train of thought. Hello, Thunderhawk. But I knocked one apart the other day, and I got 2.5 pounds of copper off it. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And that's just the copper windings, the wire. I save these. These are copper toroids. I don't like to cut them in the house because they are inside of here. This is called ferrite, and Fe, iron, ferrite, steel. It's magnetic. You can actually even put it in with your scrap metal, because it's what you make steel out of, and it is ferrous. So I probably will have to take a chisel and knock those off, or a hammer, and I don't really want to do that at my kitchen table. So I'll get these off. You can break these. These smaller ones, you can just take a vise, regular vise like down on the workbench. You stick this guy in the vise. Not vice grips, but in a vise. Close the drawers on the vise, and it'll split. You can split it, and then you can sit in front of the tube, watch the Yankees lose, and strip copper wire. And it's good copper wire. It's good clean wire. I've got a bucket of that down in the basement too, but I gotta wait and see. However, here is the absolute thing you don't want to miss on an old board like this. Oh, there's 2 things. Nope, just 1 thing. Sorry, I lied. These are gold pins. And they are beautiful gold pins. Hello, Ed Coleman. I hate to say good morning, jerk, because he's not here right now. No, I would never say that. I would say good morning, honey. I called him a jerk, I would apologize probably right away, and it would take a lot to get me that mad at him anyway. We don't carry on like that. That's just not nice. But I don't know if any of you guys follow Vegas Matt, but his favorite line is "idiot." And actually, I bought myself an idiot T-shirt. I was gonna put it on after I sliced my hand open the other day for not wearing gloves. So you can break the plastic away, and just gonna rest this up a little bit. And here's where your pliers come in. You just go in, and again, you want to cover this because these will fly. I like to flip this upside down, but you won't be able to see it if I do it. So, and I'm just going to start cutting. Tedious, yes. Worth it, yes. Have I made $1 million yet? No. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut here, 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 and here. There's 4 rows of absolutely beautiful gold pins. Some of the cleanest gold pins you're ever going to get. So, and again, you want these flush pliers. There is a smaller size. For me, these are a little bit better. I can get into both rows. But these flush pliers, you can get right up against the base, and you can do much better with your gold recovery. Some people will pry this whole thing off. You can put them in boiling water, and it softens them, and then you can pull the whole pin out. You kind of make you do the same thing with brass connector ends and plugs, and plug soup. Patrick Williams has a plug soup recipe on his channel. If I see really good brass, I'll put it aside. There's just a lot of things that I probably will sit out on the patio and do this summer, depending how busy I am. I've got 800 instruments that I have to clean and service. But once I get those done, I'll get back at my scrapping. I would not say scrapping has been an easy road in answer to the question, do you make money at it? I used to. It's a long story how I even got into this. Somebody closed an office. They were going to throw away the computers. I had heard a little bit about computer scrapping. I asked if I could have them. I took them apart. I went on YouTube. I learned about computer scrapping, and that's it. I was addicted. And it was a good way to stay home and make some extra money. We had a situation where I had to be home. We had a family member who was ill and it really required 24/7 care. So I was home with Mom during that time, and I did the e-scrapping to make enough money to keep the music school open. I trained a local scrapyard in the fine art of e-scrapping. I told him, because my opinion then, and it did come to pass, was e-scrap is very, I follow the stock market. I follow things like NVIDIA. I follow things like AMD. I follow the chip stocks a lot. And, NVIDIA was just making this big breakthrough back a few years ago. And they were talking about artificial intelligence and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, where the hell are they going to get all the material for this stuff? It's limited. There's not unlimited amounts of these things, and you have to import it all. And, my thought was just, what? I think they're going to have to get it from computer boards. They're going to have to recycle them to get the amount of material they're going to need. And that was my opinion then. And it still is. E-scrap price has gone way up. I don't know what's going to happen this week. Like I said, this week's going to be kind of a, pardon my French, shit show. But yeah. So anybody who jumped on the e-scrap computer wagon and is saving this stuff, yeah, you're going to make money. And this particular yard that I was dealing with, they just bought pallets and pallets of computers. And I had taught them all about grading boards, showed them how to take them apart, showed them how to tell a good board from a plastic board. And unfortunately, we had a terrible disagreement, which I'm sad about. And, they showed me the door. That's okay. I know God has other plans for me. But I made money because he was right there. I could quickly resell my stuff. Now I have to ship it. And, that takes expense. If you can't get your e-scrap free, don't bother, guys. Don't bother. I'm very lucky. There's a local IT guy, and he calls me whenever he has broken things that he can't resell because he knows what I do. And so I'm able to get enough to keep new content for you guys without breaking the bank. I don't want to go through what I went through the other day. I drove to New York City to pick up a load of computers over by the Brooklyn Bridge. No place to park. Couldn't get the computers. Wasted 3 hours driving around looking for parking. Got hit by a big black Cadillac Escalade in my brand new pickup truck in Chinatown. The guy did not speak English. I wound up just taking a picture of his license plate and heading on my merry way. And I don't think what he was saying to me was very nice. He looked very angry, and I was alone, and I said, you know what? It's just not worth it. He actually hit me. But I do have a friend of mine who does body work, so I'll get out okay on that one. I know, Jameson, and I don't disagree with you. I just, I don't even want to start a fight within my own family over politics. And my mother, God in heaven, rest her soul, nobody loved to fight politics more than she did. I hated it. I'm not happy. I'm certainly in touch with my local officials with my point of view on these things. I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. And I just hope we can all get through it till it levels out. So you see, this does take a little bit of time to do, but I have gotten most of the gold pins out. These would be absolutely ready to go ahead and clean to be refined. This is very high quality gold. Scrap and Irish had a video on yesterday. I think it was live. I don't know if it was a video. And he may have saved it, or he may have it on his YouTube channel, about telling the difference between high quality pins, low quality pins. He does a lot with gold refining. And I'm going to echo his words, which basically are, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. I think for me, it's not something I want to undertake. You have to have a lot of special equipment. My house is very close to my neighbor's house. It's not for me. But he's very good at it. He knows what he's doing. I would not undertake gold refining unless I really knew what I was doing. That stuff is so toxic. Cutting these boards is very toxic. They're full of copper, gold, all kinds of toxic things. I am Grobot. I'm going to just finish up this one again. It is a bit tedious. You could, I think an air chisel would be okay to do to get this off if you wanted to do the plug soup thing and pull them that way. So that's how that is done. That's one thing I definitely, especially the server boards. Yeah, I'm going to go after those. The server power supplies, like this. This one has gold fingers. These I'm going to cut. I'm going to do it outside. I'll take the aluminum, and the copper, and then I'll just sell that as a low-grade board. So there's places to get good gold pins. The older computers, anything pre-2020. I was talking. There was a refiner, and he's here near me. I'm in Connecticut, and I think his company is called Fairfield Refiners or something along those lines, or Fairfield Metal Recycling, something along those lines. It's in Fairfield, Connecticut. they won't look at you unless you have about 3,000 pounds of material to sell. And, you know, that's understandable. So I've been speaking with him about what would he buy. Now, I love Board Sort. They're very honorable. They're very honest. I have learned so much from working with them. But they're in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm in Stratford, Connecticut. I do have shipping costs to consider. There's also another refining company in Massachusetts. Now, that's just from here. You know, it's something for me to consider. I send 2 or 3 boxes a week to Board Sort. And I do it just to keep funds coming in and funds moving, and so I don't drown in e-scrap. And, you know, like I said, they're, if I lived closer, I would deal exclusively with them, but I don't. It's, you know, shipping is not cost effective. I think there's other ways to do this besides just take everything apart and sell it. But I don't know. That's going to take some research. I have a little bit of time. All right. That, my friends, is going to do it for this board. I'm not going to do anything else with this on camera. I'll get this. I got to get this other one piece off. I'll get the rest of these pins. And I'll leave these on for weight. Yeah, they're just aluminum. And I'll sell this as a low-grade board once I depopulate it. And, yeah. I have a lot of these. Oh gosh, they're heavy as too, let me tell you. Alright. Well, I brought one computer up from down cellar to show you. And, this one's old school for sure. Really? Stratford, Connecticut, right next to the Ugly Duck restaurant. You mean Sitting Duck down in Paradise Green? The Ugly Duck. The Ugly Duckling 2 was my father's plane when he flew in World War II. I came across a story recently about his bomber crew. They used to get together for reunions, and they were the crew, the Alfonso Alfonso Donnell. It was his crew. My dad was the co-pilot. And there was, I found in my father's things when I was cleaning my mother's things out. I found this article about a reunion, and it was, you know, Alfonso Donnell was giving the interview, and he told about one night that another crew took the Ugly Duckling 1 out. They took the Ugly Duckling out that night. Something was wrong with their plane. They took the plane my father flew, and they were shot down. The whole crew was lost, and that could have had a much different ending. You know, my father's crew could have been on that, and you know, it was very sobering, needless to say. You know, it was pretty scary. Terrible times. I hope it never happens again. I talk a lot, I know. Isn't that why you guys follow my channel? Because you like to talk to me? I like to talk to you. You do mean the Sitting Duck, so that's down at the Green. Boy, they make the best. Wait a minute, I gotta think what they call it. Oh, sirloin tips. They actually marinate them for like 2 days before they sell them. Now I'm making myself hungry. And I promised my niece and my nephew a trip to Cheesecake Factory today. Otherwise I would go right to Sitting Duck right now. They also make a peach sangria. Oh, And it's not too far from home, so if I have a drink, I don't have to drive too far. Bobby, you're going to laugh. I'm going to tell you eBay. Yes, custom computers. That's exactly where they are. Yeah, that's on a Paradise Green. Nice area. I like it down there. It's kind of the heart of Stratford down there. This one has a cover. This is a Hewlett-Packard Pavilion with an Intel Celeron processor. It's because I got talking about sangrias. I haven't taken one of these apart in a while. Just give me a minute. I think it's going to have a cover that just pulls out. Maybe not. Yep, it does. Okay. Voila! Now, I will say in my own defense, this computer has gotten wet. I don't know its history. I picked it up on a load of scrap. It looks disgusting. So therefore, I would not try to sell this as... if I sold it, I would sell it for gold recovery. I don't anticipate that that's going to happen. It's just toast. It's roached. I love that word. I don't know where I got it from, but I love it. Oh, old parts for sure. I was starting to say that before the refiner, his indication was that products prior to 2020 have a higher copper and gold content. And I got to agree, this newer stuff that's coming out, it's plastic. Especially the colored motherboards. Well, they're colored because they're plastic. Boards that are this color, they've got copper, they've got aluminum, they've got gold, and they're heavy and they're thick. These are all old school boards. These came out of telephones, by the way, old office phones. Much higher quality. But yeah, this new stuff, and it's ridiculous because what happens, you'll see gaming computers go up for sale, go to scrap all the time. And it's because the darn boards burn out. They're not well made, they're plastic, and they get burned circuits. So people just chuck the whole computer and buy another one. Quite a racket for the computer makers, I must say. Alright, let's see what we need to get down here. This is my tool I reach for more than anything else. Long-handled screwdriver with variable bits. I went to Home Depot yesterday to find a Phillips head screwdriver this size. Nope, gotta buy a set, gotta buy this. I wound up leaving. I'll go to Harbor Freight and get one this afternoon. I need one lousy screwdriver. I don't need a whole set. But you can change the bits. I have extension arms. I have a couple of different extensions to really get down. Like this one, I can't get it what's inside until I get the power supply out of the way. Let's see if I can do that. This one's really loaded up with stuff. There's some good things in here, guys. First thing I see, besides tons of wire, is I see an old school hard drive, and I'll tell you what I mean by old school in a minute. There's SATA and there's non-SATA. So SATA boards, and again, BoardSort really was the first to start buying e-waste in bulk like that. And they really are pretty much the industry standard. Everybody prices according to what BoardSort is doing. It's just they have earned that right to do that. So BoardSort separates these into hard drive SATA and hard drive non-SATA. I have a video on my YouTube channel about that. I might even have it here on TikTok. So, hi Dave. So, this is a non-SATA. So, non-SATA will have a ribbon wire and will connect to gold pins. You will find these kind of gold pins and these kind of connections on CD-ROMs and other media devices. The only thing it really matters for our purposes is for hard drives. So this is an old school hard drive. They are paying top dollar on board sort for these right now. You definitely want to take the board off. You can throw this into breakage, or you can sell it as a hard drive with no board after you take the board off. It's the gold pins, guys. It's nothing more than that. I don't have another one here to show you for comparison, I don't think. I think they're all in my truck ready to go out. Yeah, you'll have to check out one of the videos on SATA versus non-SATA. But this is a non-SATA hard drive board that I'm going to just take off and put with the pile. Let me see. I don't know if I have any others here. Like I said, I packed an awful lot of stuff. So these are all old school boards. They have a lot of chips on them. They have, what it is I think the number might be 24. I'm not going to sit here and count. But see, in this case, I'm not going to take these pins. I'm going to sell that as a high-grade, non-SATA hard drive board. This one too. This came off a laptop. And these two. And it'll be joined by these. So those are old. Those are, like I said, those are old school. I don't have any of the others here to show you. I don't think. Oh, I might. I got one. I tend to put things in like big storage bags, and I mark them. So right now the boxes are all over at my storage bin. I'm going to go through there. I want to get a load out tomorrow to Meriden. So I'll be taking things like this hard drive board, and I don't know what else. Depends on the weather. So just to show you the difference, this is a SATA board. This is what you're going to find in most of your newer computers. See, there's no gold pins here. Yeah, there's gold pins here. That's called the jumper, but it's the gold pins. That's what the refiner is after. So SATA, non-SATA. Non-SATA is going to be found in your newer computers, guys. So if you get old school, the good things in old school computers are usually a pinned CPU chip, which I'm going to get this apart and I'm going to show you. That's why I kept this one aside, because I wanted to go through it with you. I didn't have a lot for today's videos. Mostly what I've got on the workbench now are laptops, MacBooks that I still have to figure out how to take apart. That's maybe this afternoon thing. But I didn't get a lot of new e-scrap in. I do have some coming in next week. As I said, I'm lucky. There's a local IT guy, and he's very supportive. He sells me his things that he can't fix, and he really gives them to me very cheap. He makes a little money. I will make a little money. But it's nice because I can buy enough to just keep my content up and not have to have piles and piles and piles of e-scrap anymore. Without a place to directly ship it, yeah. So, these are Goldfinger cards. These probably were, it says D-Link on it. What was it before Ethernet? Just regular internet? Modem, maybe? When we used to plug the telephone directly into the computer. So these will sell as what they call Goldfinger cards. A lot of people will strip the gold fingers, and if you're into gold refining, you know what you're doing, God bless you. Then it becomes a trimmed gold finger because you trim the gold off. Sometimes there's a heat sink on here, so I'll take this bracket off. I take the time to clean them, that's just what I do. Dial up. AOL, you've got mail. Oh, you must be as old as I am. Dial up. How could I not remember that? God. I love my niece and nephews more than anything in the world, but they spent a lot of time here when they were kids. You know, their grandmother and grandfather were here. So I unfortunately am one of those people, if I don't get enough sleep, I'm a real itchy bee. But I was a school teacher. I couldn't be up all night. And they'd be up on that damn computer. So I finally wound up putting up a switch in my box. I'd warned everybody, 9 o'clock, computer's going off. I'd flip the switch, I'd shut off all the internet in the house, and it would be, I'm like, go to sleep, you got school tomorrow. Oh my God. I can look back and I said, you know, you're making Auntie D become an Auntie B, and I don't like it. Now they're all in their 30s. We're all besties, which is really nice. I have a nice relationship with all three of them. I'm really lucky. Can't wait to go out to lunch this afternoon, as a matter of fact. And it's nice. We all live, 20 minutes from each other. And that's nice. So this is ready to sell, guys. This will sell as a Goldfinger card. No heatsink, no bracket. There wasn't a chip here when I took this out. If there was, I think it would be called the Dallas switch or possibly an IC chip. These removable chips you definitely want to try to grab if you can without upsetting your buyer. A lot of gold and a lot of copper in those. Where you get into trouble is if you depopulate boards. Things like high-grade telecom boards and stuff. If you sell a high-grade telecom board and it arrives at your buyer with nothing on it, guess what you're not going to get paid for? You got mail! I'm laughing my head off. Oh my God. And who'd have thought that now we have phones that basically are like computers and everything else. God, I feel like a dinosaur, man. It wasn't even that long ago. Well, yeah, it was that long ago. You've got mail. How about answering machines? Leave your message at the beep. So sometimes this one doesn't, but sometimes there's gold connector ends in there. You can just throw this in with your cheap seed insulated copper wire. There's really not a lot of gold recovery in this wire. I flip gaming PCs. I've never seen scrapped and broken hardware. I don't really flip them, but I do get a lot of them in, and I will test them and resell them. If they work, I'll sell them. If they don't, I'll take them apart, and I'll sell the boards. You really do get a very good board inside of the gaming systems. I've got a video up on Xboxes that I took apart last week. Welcome everybody who's come in. Good to see you all. I'm sorry I can't always catch the comments when I'm destroying computers. So my first phone was a Motorola StarTech. And, it looked like the Beam Me Up Scotty. That was my first cell phone. And I've had iPhones ever since. A lot of money to be made flipping games and gaming stuff if you know what you're doing. My older nephew used to do that. I mean, he had an eBay store, the whole 9 yards. He was very good at it. For me, I flip musical instruments. And there's just not the market with the economy that there's just not a lot of money in instrument resale. Problem is everybody goes and buys them off Amazon, and they're rubbish. They just, they break. And you can't tell people. Alright, gold-fingered ram, over there with your friends. You need about 40 of those to make a pound, guys. I'm glad to hear that. Custom computers, that's excellent. I would say try to keep it processed, otherwise you're going to be up to your tuchus and e-waste before you know it. I mean, I learned that the hard way, and now I have it at a level where I just have stuff coming in and out, and I don't buy more than I need, thanks to the fact I have somebody nearby. But I've got everything. I don't really have sort bins, I have boxes, so I know what the box weighs before I start loading it up, and then I start loading the box. You know, I wrap everything carefully, I put it in the box get filled, I send it off to board sort, or wherever it is I may be selling. I do miss not having the scrapyard, though, I will admit that. There's one up in Meriden. Rockaway Recycling, I think, buys boards. So I mean, there are other places I can sell the boards. The thing with board sort is they do pay a lot more, so it almost offsets the shipping. So, and it's just really super convenient. After what I went through the other day, I have no desire to get in the car and drive over God's creation trying to get rid of stuff. If you're going to get into this business, guys, make sure before you do, you got a place to sell your e-scrap. Because, you know, I think more yards will get into it. But, you know, make sure you have a place to sell it before you buy it. See if shipping it is going to be conducive. I'm going to check out a couple of other places that are nearer to me. Again, I want to make sure. I'll keep you updated on that. I did find 2 or 3, and I am interested in possibly working with the refiner, but he says he wants 3,000 pounds before he'll even consider talking to me. I said, no problem, talk to you in 2 weeks. You know. So those are, you know, I've always got a few irons in the fire, you know. Are the wires useful? Not as far as reusing, I don't think. This is really old. It's actually brittle. You can sell them. Just throw them in a bin in your yard. We'll buy them as low-grade wire. Computer wire is, I think it's like 35% copper recovery weight. They buy it as 35%. Some such thing. Just about any yard will buy wire. That's not usually a problem. You wind up with buckets of it. These usually take me about 5 minutes to take apart, guys, but because I'm chattering away over here, it's taking me a wee bit longer. Okay. Don't know why I can't get this power supply out. I think it's ready to come out. I think, lift out? No, it couldn't be that easy. Yes, it could. I might crack this one open later and see what's inside. Right now I'm going to go put it out on the stairs because it's disgusting. I don't want any disgusting stuff in my house. Computers are disgusting, guys. Just remember that. They're going to be filthy, dirty, and gross. I usually take an air compressor and I just blow them all out before I even bring them in the house. Yeah, this is it's going to be an old school board, guys, if I can ever get to it here. The trouble is you got to get all this stuff out of the way to get to the board. This is just this I think is some kind of media. Oh, I know what this is. Okay, you old school guys, remember what this is? Do 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 do. I give you a hint. You push something in, and you push this to take it out. Old as dirt. So am I. You can take this apart if you want to. Look, beautiful gold pins. I'm going to throw that in with my media drives. I have a yard that will buy them. If I want to, I could definitely go after these gold pins. It's a 3.5 floppy inch drive. 3.5 hard drive. 3.5 inch hard drive. Now this is old school too. That's why I thought I'd save this one for you guys and do this teardown with you. I thought you might enjoy this one. Floppy disk, 3.5. Yep. Thank you, everybody who's sending gifts. That's really kind of you. I do this because I really enjoy it. My nephew will scream at me, no, we want you monetized, we want you making money. I did, I made 87 cents last week. I gotta get this out. Why can't I get you out? Do you have a screw on the other side that I don't see? There's some screws on the bottom here. I might have to take those out to get at this. I know some of the Macs and Apples, they're mounted on a metal plate. You have to take the whole plate out to get at the board. And I don't know if that's the case here. I think these were made by Hewlett Packard, these compaqs. The problem is I don't know if I can get the board out without getting the CD drive out of the way. Usually these push forward. I don't see any other screws. I don't see any other gadgets or gizmos. I see a wire here. Maybe that's holding it in. Sometimes there's a connecting wire that just is holding it up, but I don't see it. There's always got to be one, you know. Maybe this comes out this way. Haha. D1, computer 0. Cooling Master is, they make a lot of gaming computers and stuff. Well, yeah, and then I can, there are screws there. Told you I had to unscrew those. Ooh, I'm getting so smart at this. Yes, you're right, Jedi. Jedi Builder, I love that. That's cool. Yeah, I was able to get it out. Thank you. I had to flip it over and unscrew a couple of other things. Yeah, you have to take the faceplates off on most computers to push that through. So again, this is a very good board. I know this because I can't even tell you how many things I've taken apart already. Yeah, no, I had to flip it. I had to get the bottom plate out, and then I was able to get 2 more screws out. These are really good gold pins. This is old school. Again, this is a non-SATA connector. Board Store will buy these. Not this. These I will sell. I'll take the board out and I'll sell. I'll show it to you. This should be a nice piece of brass in here. And this is going to be the last thing I do, guys. I got to get ready to make church this morning. I hope I do. I'm a little bit behind this morning. I just couldn't get moving this morning. Yeah, aren't they nice, Mike? How you doing? I watched a couple of your videos the other day. I very much enjoyed them. I'm having trouble getting the like button to work on my TikTok. I've gone back and tried to figure out why I can't leave likes, and I'm working on that. Those are important to content creators. But yeah, let me take this apart. You'll see there's a really nice board in here. Again, it's old school. Old school, pretty much for me, computer-wise, means pre-2020. There's old and then there's ancient. Sometimes I have a date on here, too. If I sell this board, I would sell it for somebody who does gold recovery. I would not sell it as a working board. I have a couple that I put up for sale for gold recovery. I've actually got bids on 3 of them, I think. Why not? You're always going to make more money doing something like that than you are for scrap value. In my hand, yeah, this is a CG. This is a CG. This is a CVD DVD driver. The other one was the optical driver. I don't know where I put it down somewhere. This one? This was a 3.5 floppy. This is a DVD rewriter. If the computer was in better shape, I would resell this, but I can see this computer has gotten wet, and I'm not going to take that chance on selling something. So this is a CD DVD writer. Wow. Wait till I get some of the wait till you see some of the old school Macs I got downstairs to get apart. I love taking vintage computers apart. They're really good. I am working on a deal to buy a pallet of collectible computers. Those he took really good care of, but he's trying to raise some money to open a new business. He wants more than I'm willing to pay, and I can't pay any more because I won't make any money. I've got to do the work. I've got to resell them, and he wants me to do it on consignment, and I don't want to do that. Been there, done that, bought the shirt. Warranty void if removed. We're screwed. No more warranty. Some of the boards out of some of the old servers I did, man, I'm kicking myself I didn't resell those, let me tell you. Unfortunately, I was in a bit of a crunch and I needed funds quickly. And it made me make a decision I now regret. Yeah, they were from like 2018, 2019. I did sell the Sun Microsystem board. That one I sold. The problem is sometimes when you're taking them out of something, you damage them, and then they're not good for anything else but scrap. Thank you, Mike. I'm doing much better than the last time we were online when I had cut my finger open. I wasn't wearing gloves, like a dope. This one's got a lot of screws in it, crud. Actually, I might not have to get those. I might just have to get these. Guys, when you're praying stuff, always make sure it's either down or away from your body. Because, stabbing yourself with a screwdriver would not be good. There we go. This was a good computer. This was fun to scrap. It had just about a little bit of everything in it, Yeah. And this is a good board. Very nice board. So that will go in with my CD-ROM boards. I don't take the newer ones apart. They're really not very good. I just throw the whole thing in a shred. They're just not worth it. But see, I knew this. I was pretty sure. I shouldn't say I know, but I was very sure this was going to be a good board because of the gold. So I can either sell it to BoardSort, or I can clip the pins and throw it in a shred. I'm in a position where I don't have to sell a lot of things. Maybe I will take the gold for myself. I don't know. I don't have to make that decision right this second, so I won't. I don't see any screws. Let me take this off. This can go with your insulated copper wire. Yeah, there you go. That's a nice board. Yep. Yep. I'm going to try to get that one chip off. I got to get, you got to wiggle those, and sometimes you got to cut here. But I might take that one chip. The rest of this I'll leave. If I sell it, I'll sell it like that. Yeah, it's a good board. So CD-ROM board, just as it is. They take both. They take those and the other ones. Now, I thought maybe I'd get a piece of brass right here, and it might still be underneath. Because this is a DVD rewriter, I might not get that piece of brass that I get in the CD boards. Alright, so always get the batteries off, guys, because they can start a fire in the refinery. Get those off property as quickly as you can. Very interesting board. The thing that kills me is I'd have to sell it as a plastic socket colored motherboard. And this is where I have a problem, because it's really worth a lot more than that. The reason they put them as colored motherboards, as I told you before, is because of the amount of plastic that's in the newer one. But this isn't new. This is old. So that's why I might try to just sell this one outright. I would sell it for gold recovery. I would not sell it as a working unit. I don't have a way to test it. I don't know anything about its history. I know I just got it in a pile of e-scrap that somebody gave me. Or I bought. I don't know which. Okay. I'm going to have to go to the metal yard tomorrow too, I think. I hope it stops raining. I'd love to get the car loaded up to go for tomorrow. Yeah, we'll take it as it comes. I'm going to go to church, and then I have a 2 o'clock lunch date, which I'm looking forward to. Yuck. Gross. This should be a pinned CPU or some type. I don't know. What did it say Intel on it? I don't remember. I'm not really good at guessing at these. What do you do with that battery? I take it to a recycler. Our transfer station. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm really glad you asked that question. Haunting Jenny. I dispose of these at the transfer station. You've got to recycle these responsibly. You've heard me say it before. When the recycler buys this whole board gets thrown into a shredder. If there's a CMOS battery on there, it could start a fire at the refinery. I've also seen them repack the load and send it back at buyer's expense because the buyer didn't take the battery off. You got to get the batteries off. The seller didn't get the batteries off. Yesterday, I got the lithium-ion batteries out to the transfer station. I had to cut my video a little bit short because I had to get to the transfer station. I have one yard that will buy them, but I don't want them around. I don't want them around. They're just too unstable. And that's just me, though. You know, comes to fire, I'm a little bit paranoid. I can't help it. Disgusting. So we can get this heat sink off, then we can get to the chip. Remember, always away from you. Yeah. So this is an Intel Celeron, old school. I don't think it's a ceramic chip. I think it's plastic. The ceramic chips are really thick. I don't think oops. I don't know if I have one here to show you. I do. These are the ceramic chips. Those are really super desirable. But this is pinned. You know, I wouldn't resell it because once you remove it out of the CPU, you've already done damage to the pins. And again, I don't know the history of this computer. You know, if it was clean like the palette I'm trying to buy, yeah, then maybe I'd resell it. All right. That, my friends, is going to probably wrap up today's video. I apologize to anybody who joined us late, but I do have to. I do have to run. Will you make more on the gold? That it just went away. The answer to that is I don't know. I've been watching some different people who refine gold to see what they would do. I don't know. It's a lot of chemicals. You really got to know what you're doing. You have to buy a fume hood. You have to buy special equipment. You have to do trial and error. For me personally, no. I'd rather just sell the board to. I'd rather sell the board to somebody who knows what they're doing. I don't want that stuff around the house. My nephew has 3 little girls, and I certainly don't. And our houses are close together here. I would not be refining metal here at the house. Again, that's just me though. I don't want to do it. This chip I'll take off. So they're going to buy this as a large socket plastic colored motherboard. I'm going to try and sell it as a board for gold recovery. It's heavy, but I wouldn't sell it as a working board. So I will try to sell this. My eBay store is Connecticut Band Instruments Services. All right. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for the pleasure of your company. I'm going to get showered and cleaned up and everything else. And thank you, everybody, for the gifts. Wow, 5.1K this morning. Thank you so much. God bless you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's hard. You really can't script these things. Usually I have a big pile of something to work on, and I know what I'm going to work on. Just this morning was tricky because I didn't have... Buy custom computer. Hey, if you're down the Stratford way, let me know. I'll meet you at Sit and Duck for peach sangria. They're really good. So if you want to follow me, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok. I do try to put up instructional videos on a lot of the things that I've scrapped. And if I haven't gone over an hour, I can put the live replay up. And I'll try to do that. I may have gone over today, though. All right. Thanks, everybody. God bless. I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed. So the rest goes for metal. Yeah, this is all shred. That's just going to the scrapyard. That would be great. I'd love that, custom computer. Yeah, you can find me on TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, that would be great. I'd like that. That's fun. Yeah, so I'll keep this. I'll clean up. This will go with my aluminum. I'll clean it up under a hose. That's disgusting. This is all shred. If I take the board out, this will go as shred. Scrap metal's not too bad right now, but that's all shred. That's one problem with computer scrapping, guys. You just build up so much metal. I really have to go to the scrapyard every day or every other day because I don't want to mess around the house. All right, I'm going to go put these things outside. I'm going to go get cleaned up, and I'm going to go to church and go to lunch. You guys have a blessed day. Enjoy whatever you're doing. I hope the weather's nicer in your part of the world than it is mine. It is raining, dismal, cold, and yuckadoodle dandy. Ciao, guys. Love you. Bye. Hardest thing is getting the camera to turn off. It just doesn't like my touch.